to the Kwankwaso NDC conversation. So a few things now are now on the table. So we now know that there's an agreement that's been signed, and hopefully both parties will be men of integrity enough to honor the terms of these agreements. But what does this do? Number one, it allays the fears of the North that based on the unwritten rule of rotational presidency, after 2 terms of a southern presidency, it should go to the North. So by 2031, it should be a northern presidency at that time. And so with Peter Obi signing this, it means that to a large extent they have allayed the fears of the North that the rotational presidency will still occur in 2031, Kwankwaso might emerge. The other question would then be that if this works for a single term, then that argument for maybe the presidential term limit of a Nigerian president ought to be 1 term might gather some momentum, because if a president can do considerable work in 1 term, it means that we don't maybe need 2 terms to achieve what we ought to, and that tightism would go. But the big question would be, is this enough motivation to get the much desired votes of the North? This okay ticket, is Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso a strong enough candidate to, there's this debate as to who would inherit the Buhari votes. Would it go to the to the current vice president Kashim Shettima? Would it go to Kwankwaso, or would Atiku Abubakar be the would inherit that? But the big elephant in the room is the status of the NDC itself as a party. Would they be on the ballot come 2027? Well, Rufai, your take on these stories.
The truth is, see, you know why people like me opt for technology in elections? Because it leaves a trail.
Yeah.
That paper trail and manual voting can be destroyed. So with the Nigerian elections, and they said technical glitch, it's not that those elections or technology failed. It's the transparency of people that failed. Till date, if you want to know all that transpired in 2023 election, all INEC should bring out is the source code of the back end for that election. And you will know all the audit trail on that election. But will INEC ever bring it out? Never. All they will do is they will write you kangaroo reports telling you what they feel happened. It is not them that should be writing kangaroo reports. It is an independent forensic auditors with access to the source code that will be able to bring out everything that happened in the election. Just like the NBA election, there's no point talking back and forth. There's a source code for the architecture that built the interface. A front-facing interface where the people voted, and that's how they got OTP phone, and a back end that recorded everything that transpired. Just like your DNA records everything that transpired. It is still there. If you want to know what transpired in the NBA election, they should just agree that an independent forensic expert should have access to the source code and independently evaluate the back end. JAM was the only one that was transparent enough to allow that level of scrutiny. When we said there were manipulations with JAM. So today I pay tribute to that man, despite the fact that we also called out his level of allowing things go awry. Everything is there. The solution is in the tech. Tech don't lie. It's not a human being. All that transpired is in the source code. Will the ECMBA be willing to give independent forensic auditors the source code into the architecture and the back end of that technological system? If they are not ready to do it, that water is passing Gary. It's a case of yam pepper scatter issue at yoro. So all of this English that we are speaking, the solution is there, but nobody will have the transparency and the temerity to open their furor in the public to see what has transpired. That's that on that. Secondly, as regards the situation with
PFIPC
Adeyemi fake scandal, You can now see that when I say government is a joke, you think I'm lying. I will read some statements for you that will confirm that point, because me, I don't just make spurious claim. The presidency announced when this matter came out that Adeyemi succeeded in fraudulently opening a CBN bank account. Accountant General contradicted this claim and said Adeyemi attempted to open a CBN account, but the process was never completed and was never activated. CBN now stated that he did not open the account arbitrarily, that he received authorizations to open the account, and the PFIC never successfully operated or finalized an account with the CBN. I mean, this revelation is contradicting the previous statement of the Accountant General. So what they are saying is that actually it's the Accountant General that gave the CBN right to go ahead and open the account. See 3 different statements by 3 different government agencies. The presidency talk one thing, went to Kutuwenji. Accountant General talk another thing, went to Sabongida Ora. CBN talk another thing, went to New Busa. One government. Dr. Abati, give me that word you call it yesterday. Cho, cho, cho. You see government doing cho, cho, cho. You see?
I borrowed it from Wiki.
You see one government too. Cho, cho, cho. You see when I tell you, and they will never get to the end of this matter. All of them will just be doing cho, cho, cho. You thought I was lying. But you see, as with everything in government, to know what transpired, there are trails there. There are mail trails and accountability trails. There's also SEVA. There's also at gov.ng. And there are many documents here and there that can bring out the trail. But Ayo, like I said, as in the MBA case, they will never give you the source code to where the documents will come out. You will just be seeing things like Tanimola died, he destroyed the hotel. You've not gotten to that trail yet. Everything is recorded. All of these things we are looking for, there are people sitting on the documents. You also hear the accounts of the, is he head of service?
Yes, the head of service, Digi Wilson Jack.
You heard what, Ayo, please repeat what she said.
She said due process wasn't done in evaluating the documents that were presented. You see the country we are living in? So we have had 4 different accounts. Like I told you, it will continue to be a circus. Real quickly, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, he can see anything he wants to say. It's not today he's been saying it. Yes, there was devaluation of the currency. Is it me that devalued the currency? That made our debt increase? But you see, these same people in government, when I say they say cho too much, they will not also tell you that the devaluation works both ways when it comes to the dollar value of Naira debt. That the dollar value of Naira debt also reduces because of the devaluation. Secondly, they will not tell you, most importantly, why is it that with all the 21 trillion they claim they are making, they can't fund projects? In that same Senate committee hearing, I think we should have played the part where Senator Mungunu was speaking and berating them that 2025 was not funded. That we've not even started talking about 2026, and they are just talking about funding 30% of 2025. It was in that tape. We didn't play it. The reportage was just for Taiwo's Oyedele side. All right.
The question we are asking them is, with all the money coming in, with the big fat reserve, why can we not pay for projects? And to add to it, please, one more request. They should give us a line-by-line breakdown of how the 8.1 or 8.8 trillion that the IMF raised was spent. We don't like that analysis, that response that, we do, what's it called, statutory transfer, we do this. Line by line of where the 8.8 trillion went. Sefini Baba.
Right. Dr.
Okay, what Taiwo Oyedele, Minister of Finance, was saying basically is not really very original. Before now, we had heard that, Nigeria had not yet borrowed, to the level of the African average or the international average, position maintained consistently by the Debt Management Office. And in fact, the received wisdom from that direction has always been that we still have enough wiggle room to borrow more. But the concern of the economists, whether you are talking about Mr. Bismarck Rewane, or you are talking about other, concerned parties in that space, Tiliwa Adibaju, for example, and others, is that no, it's not, borrowing is not the problem. The issue is, what do you do with what you have borrowed? What is the impact on the people? We can't just keep borrowing without enough evidence, to show that this is what we have done with it. And that's a very familiar, famous line with Mr. Peter Obi, who is a presidential candidate. That's what Nigerians are concerned about, not about the figure. If you borrow to fund development, to deliver on projects in a timeous manner, then maybe Nigerians and the experts in that field will not complain. The other issue that Mr. Oyedele raised is that the reforms have worked over the last 3 years. Well, the president himself has said so. The World Bank has said so. Standard & Poor's, one of the leading rating agencies collating, data, only just said so recently that the reforms are working in Nigeria. But particularly the IMF and the World Bank have always pointed out that, look, you need more social investment in Nigeria, and you need greater transparency and accountability in Nigeria. But when government officials come forward to talk and praise the government, they don't talk about that. They need to make sure that, the thing gets to the last common denominator, namely the people of Nigeria. Now, Mr. Oyedele also went ahead to say tax revenue has increased in the last 6 months, 21.6 trillion, he said. Well, we're getting more money, we're getting more taxes from the removal of subsidy, from tax revenue. Again, the people ask the question, raised by World Bank and IMF, where is the social impact in the country where the majority of the people, have been reduced to the level of abado, bean cake, and kulikuli? So that's about that. Now, finally, Kwankwaso saying he believes Mr. Peter Obi will do only one term. Well, there's nothing like that one term yet in the Nigerian constitution. So it's their own arrangement. He can believe what he wants. That's up to him. But once upon a time in this country and again, people have recommended a tenure, which was the point you made. Maybe we should revisit that.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
News. Your fast, reliable, and simplified source for Nigerian news updates.